Hey, I'm Ron Drotos from keyboardimprov.com, and welcome to our journey through the real book number 174, which is a great tune by the Brazilian composer of bossa novas, Antonio Carlos Jobim. It's called If You Never Come to Me. And this whole series of jazz piano lessons has a twofold purpose. One is to challenge myself to really go through all these tunes in order. I can't pick which one's coming next. I got to deal with it. Some of them I have played before like this, some of them I haven't. And, you know, just like everybody else, I avoid some of those Ornette Coleman tunes that are, you know, hard to play and got to figure it out. I'm challenging it myself. It's an 8-year project. And the second purpose is to give you a way to learn jazz standards in sort of a more whole way. You're not just learning notes on a page. They come to life when we know a little bit about the composer, or how's the chord progression a little different from these tunes. That's the interesting thing. They're living, they become living through us, and it's physical. We play it, the sound influences us, and then we can go deeper and deeper into our playing, the more familiar we get with the tunes, and challenge ourselves creatively too. So there's two things I'd like to talk about with this. One perhaps underappreciated aspect of Jobim's composing is that each tune is more different than I thought for a long time. You know, Girl from Ipanema, Wave, If You Never Come to Me, How Insensitive. They're all very different. Sometimes the form is very different too in these. This one's interesting. The form is basically A, B, A. Well, it's really the same thing, right? So it's like A, B, kind of. And that's unique too. A lot of times you'll see A, B, A, C. Like All of Me is like that. There Will Never Be Another You. And then of course A, B, A, which a lot of tunes are too, you know. But it's basically the same thing for the two halves of the tune, 16-bar tune. And it's almost as if, you know, Jobim was influenced by jazz. You know, when I was Gerry Mulligan's assistant, the saxophonist in the 1987, 88, he knew Jobim, and he would tell me, they would talk about it. Jobim would say, you know, Gerry, we heard your cool jazz, and it influenced bossa nova. And then Gerry was like, well, once we heard bossa nova, that influenced how we played. So there's this cross-pollination between American jazz and Brazilian bossa nova in the late 50s, early to mid-60s. So a couple things are happening. You know, there's this, if you want to get from the 1 chord to the 6, dominant 7th, a very traditional way to do it would be go down by dominant 7th chords. Right? Dominant, so C major 7, B dominant 7, B flat dominant 7, A dominant 7. It's as if Jobim said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go down from C to A chromatically, but I'm going to do it in with major 7th chords. See? And then the dominant 7th on the 6th chord. It's very different feel. It's beautiful. It just opens it up like colors of a rainbow start appearing. And not only that, he might have said to himself, I'm going to make the melody go chromatically in contrary motion and harmonize it. I love that kind of major 7th chord motion where it's not quite functional harmony in the way we think. It's like colors. You know, you could do it, you know, things like that. Moving around by major 7th chords. I've written tunes like that. So it comes up with interesting things. It's a 13th chord and a major 7, and he puts the sharp 11 or flat 5 in the middle, the E over the B chord, and then finally, okay, kind of traditional. And then he does a 3, 6, 2, 5, 3, 6, 2, 5, and then he does something very interesting in the 4th line here. Bossa novas, you know, can either be just this sort of beautiful, sort of languid feel. They can be a little more rhythmic, and they can also be a little bluesy, you know, like you know. You hear that bluesiness, and he goes there with these dominant 7th chords. You think it's going to resolve to a C major 7 in bar 13, and it's dominant 7th. Then major 7. So you can throw in some bluesy licks there. And then the major 7 again. So it's this play between this sort of beautiful ethereal, the rhythms of bossa nova, and this bluesiness that all combine, you know. And so it's more multifaceted than we sometimes think of with bossa novas, and it's all in this tune. So I love these opening chords so much. I think I'm going to linger on them, play them a little out of tempo, maybe with some trills, like a Ravel type of texture. And then, I don't know, maybe get into rhythm in bar 5 or wait until 9. Sort of see how it feels. That's such a great tune, and it's challenging because we don't always improvise on E13th chords, or even the A. Well, the A is a little more common, but to really lay into that. Just the chords all seem kind of normal, but they move in different directions, and that's the challenge. Even this opening. Can't use any of our usual licks because we might expect that B dominant seventh I talked about in the beginning. But going from here to another major seven, to another one. Sounds like Stevie Wonder was really influenced by Jobim. I'm sure that's true, actually. I know he's played some. You can see it on YouTube. That's a Stevie Wonder chord progression. Something from his early 70s work, like Intervisions or something. So it all ties together. Have fun getting into this tune. Learn it just like you would the Girl from Ipanema or Wave or other Jobim tunes. Have a great time, and good luck with your playing. And we will continue next week with Coltrane's Impressions, which was based on So What. Take care and have fun every step of the way.